fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do eat no money, what they at you, eat no at you. Covid money, me say we eat the your little rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste a must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but they got in a figure you. Take this print of money, got and say that is not you. One day the man above end up, him a got a bet. But it in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me,
300% free.
it burn me,
Garbage pile up the day.
it burn me,
Give the teacher them
it
raise.
burn me,
I see corruption
it
face.
burn me,
Mash down the people them house.
it burn me,
Every day appear arms out.
it burn me,
Appear money them a thief.
it burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our fever. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me,
Or they treat the market man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the cat man.
it burn me,
Or they treat the peanut man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the dirt man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the son man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat policeman.
it burn me,
How them a treat soldier man.
it burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't.
I don't know what is happening. My screen. Morning, good morning.
We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep, and some informer friend we lovely. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good morning, good morning. Sorry about that. It was a frozen screen and the preset click off the video snap back in. Good morning. Thank you all very much for being here this morning. I want to this morning say a massive thank you to my globalists who put me back in my professional studio, to Gloria, Raymond, Violet, Eugene, and Abena. Between you both, you have donated $450. We managed to buy back our professional plan. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you all for your assistance. It is very much appreciated. So, honestly, I'm back with some of my ruckus, them like my background and thing, which those are only on the professional thingy. So, thank you all very much. I really appreciate that. Boy, what are we going to talk about this morning? Marissa Dalrymple Filbert. Where is Miss Phil Wimple? Come on, Miss Phil. Miss Phil Wimple, we're going to start off first with this morning. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning and welcome. On a want a seat? Do you all want a seat? But I'm not sure if I'm with the People's National Party on this. We will get there when we get there. Willie Dunn, Debbie Jervis TV, good morning and welcome. Angela Musson, Dan Real Sweet, RJ, Marcia Thomas, Sharon Bernard, Gloria Morris. Who else is here? Abena Sarkodi, Violet Watson, Lukia TV Adventures, Empress Deb, Marcia Essay, Marcia Stewart, Raymond G, Country Gal 84, Noreen Dennison, Jason Kane, Cousin Myrna, Wagwan. I mean, any one of us, if Marissa the cat is back, then Ruel the Squirrel could be back at any time. Because having your pocket full of public stolen money, Christine Gilbert, having your pocket full of public stolen money while in front of the court, same thing when you resign final, issue is still in front of the court, unsolved. But oopsie-daisy, Marissa Dalrymple Filbert is coming back. Yes, I know a general election is a year away. Andrew is playing politics. But I'm not sure if I agree with the People's National Party, especially not contesting South Trelawney. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm really not sure I agree with that. Just like I thought the other day, they should have contested. What do you look about the name Matthew? I think the PNP contesting South Manchester, they've got a good chance of Pat Moore replacing Dalrymple Filbert. Bros, good morning. So I don't agree with the People's National Party not contesting that general election. Yes, Andrew is using political expediency, but I don't think rather be funding because it's too close to a general election, which is less than a year away. But if you contest the local government election, why not contest the central government election as well? Why not test the waters? Why not test the waters? I don't agree with this. Release Nicholson. But the truth is, if Marissa Dalrymple Filbert can come back with a record, what would stop Ruel Reid from coming back? There's nothing stopping Ruel Reid. It's Andrew and the Labour Party decide what ruckus and what game them play in a galang in there. So I really don't see anything stopping Ruel from coming back if he want to come back. And it's hard to see because especially since them put the East Portland candidate The PNP is the JLP is talking about criminals in the party, criminals in Marissa Dalrymple Filbert is before the court. Jason Kane. Marissa Dalrymple Filbert resigned because the Integrity Commission caught her with her hands in the cookie jar. Marissa Dalrymple Filbert could have resigned from the cabinet then and still hold her seat as a member of parliament while the case was going on, because until she's convicted for XY based on the Westminster democracy, until she's been convicted, I think, for more than 6 months, then she would have to lose her seat. But it's all political play with Andrew Holness, and I'm getting weary and not understanding, because it's the same confusion with the Marsha Stewart situation. Why was Marsha Stewart sacked? Marsha Stewart was an immediate sacking. You've got to go now, Marsha. And taking Matthew out of the Senate, put him in Marsha's seat within weeks, and then give him back the same job that he had in the cabinet when he was in the Senate. I don't understand Marsha Simmons. I don't understand what it means. It's really not making sense, the whole Marsha Simmons debacle. It would turn out that Marsha Simmons had to be sacked from the cabinet and from the party forthwith. It was that same play with Dalrymple Filbert, even though Dalrymple Filbert was played out in public because fear was because of a tabled report. Is Marsha under investigation for any reasons or in any country under Holness? Why Marsha Stewart, Simmons rather, why Marsha Simmons had to be sacked with immediate effect? With immediate effect. Nobody no resign with immediate effect after they've been promoted to a cabinet position. And then you just come out and resign with immediate effect. So the country need to know why Marsha resigned or why Marsha was sacked. This is not a resignation. That was a sacking. And it's not fair enough that Andrew Holness should continue play politics and lying to the public continuously and almost keep getting away with it. Look at the madness yesterday where Andrew Holness, a ministry such as the education ministry, Andrew take it and burden Dana way around 3 different portfolio already: skills, digital transformation, and information. Given the breakdown and the lawlessness in our education system, don't you think we would have wanted a safe pair of hands, somebody who just focus on the education department? And you cannot continue to run the country with technocrats, because it is the same thing we see with Alak. Is a technocrat running the Ministry of Finance, because all favor is a picture. All favor is at the Ministry of Finance is a picture. You know, mirror on the wall, that's all favor will be over there. So the ministry will be run by the Prime Minister advisor. The question we Andrew answer to the people, who, if at all, did Nigel give a handover to? Was it Favour or was it Mr. Jean? Because I say, Andrew, we have to take your word for what you said them be. You in the press conference yesterday when asked, when did you make the decision? Abenasa Cody, Evan Bradford. When did you make the decision? You said you made the decision about 5 minutes ago. So it wasn't a plan. Listening to Dana never seemed to know, say, she will get the education ministry because she never come prepared to make a speech about it. So it look like you just wake up in the morning and decide, say, you know what? Let me not bring more problem on myself. Let me name Favour to head the post. Because, as I said before, we all found out who it was. Whoever the Prime Minister chose, Acknowledgment will be directing them. This technocrat will be running the Ministry of Finance, Jamaica. Your Ministry of Finance is been run by a technocrat. All Favour is mirror, mirror on the wall. Favour Williams have a basic school mentality. So I don't know how come the Prime Minister for just have 1 month, over a month, to choose Nigel Clark's replacement. And then come a press conference, come tell us that me make the decision minutes, I seal off on the decision minutes ago. You have a month to do that. The question is, who took a handover from Nigel Clark? Because Nigel Clark cannot just walk out of office like that and not hand over to his successor. It's not how it works in the employment world or in such a big government post. It's not really how it works, because Nigel wasn't a sacking. Nigel gave a notice period of more than 4 weeks. And what that notice period does is allow the Prime Minister to put somebody in place so that Nigel can give a handover to that person, so that person is up to speed with all of what's going on in the Ministry of Finance. So are you saying the Ministry of Finance, Favour Williams, will now have to go and get a handover from the technocrats within the ministry? If Nigel Clark gave a handover to Acknowledgment, it is only right for the country to know. We did not say him, the Prime Minister, go use pilot whoever is there. So why can the Prime Minister not be honest with the nation? Whatever thing you'll be over TikTok, me now go answer you, because your labor right will not tend to just roll up with another dunceness. Thank you for rolling up anyway. But me can't count and Favour can't count. So neither me nor Favour don't good for counting, because me always listen to Favour read, and I'm not impressed as Favour as a Minister of Education, Jacqueline Brooks. So me nah go be impressed as Favour with Favour at the finance ministry. Uno couldn't roll till uno roll in the same hag shit that the Labour Party has become under Andrew Holness. I don't care. Continue to roll. But what uno must notice is that Andrew outplayed the whole Jamaica Labour Party with politics. Andrew politics and optics is destroying the Labour Party, and that uno figure sit down and notice and stop war control people. Sharon Peart, Carlos Gray, the Woodshed, Wagwan. But let's not focus on those who are as dunce as I am. The Prime Minister need to tell the nation who Nigel Clark gave a handover to. Did Nigel Clark give a handover to Favour in secret? Or did Nigel Clark give a handover to the Prime Minister? Or did Nigel Clark give a handover to Alak Jean, which is Jamaica's newest finance minister, a finance minister, an unconstitutional finance minister? Favour a finance minister. Favour a picture. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Favour. That's all you put at the Ministry of Finance to be. A mirror and a picture on the wall. Because we knew Alak John will be running the Ministry of Finance. But should a technocrat be in control of the finance ministry? Barbara Hudson, me no PMP. Go on in a God name and leave me alone this morning, Barbara. Go on in a God name and leave me alone. Lord Jesus, the Labour, right? Them hungry this morning, them pluck up. On not eat since morning. Because we are not angry over TikTok this morning, and not hungry. Trust me, Labour rights, on half hungry. The way how come out over TikTok this morning, are the disciple who say I bring all the teeth back, or the teeth in Marissa Dalrymple Filbert. I'm not so angry this man. Go and go eat, man. Go and go drink some porridge or some fruits. I have some fruits or something. When I wake up too angry. And I can't sit down and listen before they start the war. Anyway, never mind. Una now go distract the process. The fact that your Prime Minister continued to lie, even though I speak the truth yesterday, your Prime Minister continues to mismanage the country. The Prime Minister told us yesterday, Dunsit Barbara, that you don't need experience to be in his cabinet. He don't think of your resume or your qualification when he might choose cabinet. And me says already Prime Minister. So why me can't talk about it if the Prime Minister say it? Why can I not say the Prime Minister say he's not one that chooses people based on their resume or qualification? All you need to do is to be a disciple. And I make it up. Me no son of dons. And I tend not to see or hear what is on paper or what was said. I'm only saying what the Prime Minister said. All right? So if you could want to roll, you could want to push on your head in the hog pen, the Prime Minister said it. And I make it up. Go and look at the press conference yesterday on the two dunce. I make myself look fool on social media all the while. It's the Prime Minister said it, not me. And the Prime Minister said qualification don't matters. And the Prime Minister said experience don't matter. The Prime Minister said your resume does not matter. And not me say it. Go and go check on the Prime Minister. Leave the PM alone. Hungry, go and kill your Barbara. Come you know you have to hungry. Barbara Hudson, you have to hungry. I mean, ask Christ. Hungry people are alone hungry, so. But the mirror upon the wall, we can read better than a basic school student, is now on a finance minister. Congratulations. Andrew say all she need to be is a disciple to Andrew fiscal policy. I don't me make that up neither. Go and listen to the press conference. If Andrew not say all favor need to do is to be a disciple of Andrew Holness fiscal policy. I don't make it up. It may sound shocking to you to hear the Prime Minister say so. It may sound shocking to you to know that every time the Prime Minister open his mouth, him push him foot in the mouth of the Jamaica Labour Party. Every time the Prime Minister open his mouth, every time the Prime Minister come out with an optics, it put him foot in the mouth of the Jamaica Labour Party. You all are becoming more and more unelectable. Look, even Andrew Holness telling us that the recent poll should be a cause of a wake-up call for UNO. Are you saying me I said that, or is it Andrew saying it? If Andrew are telling us that him falling back in the poll, reading in the margin of error, a 6%. Led by Mark Golden by a 6%. That's why I'm telling us it's a wake-up call. The Prime Minister continuing like this, it's only going to chip away from the Prime Minister's electability and the electability of those around the Prime Minister. Wanna notice that, that is why every time people talk, labor rights come out here and walla, because of yourself realize how much damage Andrew Holness have done to the party. It's not us that have done it. It's Andrew Holness that is damaging the party. So anybody on a fair take that pan and a cuss, look closely at on a Prime Minister. Is on a PM always do silly things. On a PM asks Marissa Dalrymple Filbert to step aside because the Integrity Commission get her a thief. And this same Prime Minister bring Marissa now back to come in a parliament while Marissa Dalrymple Filbert is front of the court. What do you think? We don't have to talk about it? Democratic and civil society, that's what it means. We can talk about all of these things. The problem, what my teacher came, the problem is with labor rights. One with shut up and walk blindly. I'm not doing it. Must make we talk about the country. Because holy pano, where a bash people we attack, and at home where grunt and bear it. We know it's a grunt and bear it situation. Lawrence would done it, Harriet. Even will come out and bash people for party. Go to bed hungry. Tired of the bad road. Tired of go to hospital, go sit down for 24 hours and still not get through. Make me talk! Am I mouth? And am my country too? To back up the slackness. Look how standpipe water pressure did high in the 80s when we are grow up. Why now you have pipe in your house and you still a walk with bucket going in your bathroom? Make me talk. Have a dunce attitude and things that everybody for settle for poverty and downright stricken poverty all the while. So people want a better Jamaica. Of course, Jamaicans have worked hard and evolved them social life. Our country has not evolved Just look at the roads around you. Look at the hospitals around you. Look at the schools around you. Look at your townships around you. Let me talk, man. Let me talk. When the Labour right 2 dons, I want everybody to just wait out of the rum bar till the campaign a pass and the pot put on. No, me hungry before the campaign reach. You can grunt and bear it till the campaign trail come round and the pot set on out a shop there, so or not get the cocoa bread or the KFC. Me hungry before that. Pain a belly hot. Holy Pano got hospital and dead needlessly. Holy Pano dead because of lack of care in Jamaica. People have to talk about that. The reason why we talk is because we want better. Our education system is turning out more and more failures. We're passing less and less year time. As Damian Crawford would have it, we're producing more for crime than we're producing for the universities. Those are the things why we talk, because we want changes. When the Miami Herald talks that Jamaica is a superpower, we don't know what them are talk about and we don't see what them are talk about. But that's what we would want for Jamaica. The first world care, what we get in a foreign, where if I go to casualty, I should not be sitting around for more than 4 hours without going through the mill. Casualty have to be very busy for me to be there for longer than 4 hours without going through the mill of being registered, seeing a triage nurse, then seeing a clinical nurse, then send you go take whatever test you need to go take, and then you see a doctor. All that is aimed to wrap up within 4 hours. We want that for now. I'm aware of people who go to Victoria Jubilee, Bustamante with them children and stay there for over 14 hours and still not seen. Those are the things that we complain about. Those are the things that the Labour Party had 8 years to fix. The looming debacle in the healthcare at the moment, don't we make it up? Doctor within the healthcare are speaking out. Doctor from America who's been coming to Jamaica for 20 years are speaking out. It's not a propaganda. When Dr. Dawes said the Ministry of Health owe a lot of these private contractors, Dr. Blake came out and reinforced that as well. It's not propaganda. Why don't you look at balance of probability or propensity? Who is more likely to be lying? If 3 doctors are saying Dr. Tufton is not telling the truth, who do you expect us to believe on the balance of probability? Given that we know Christopher Tufton have a high propensity of lying. It's not propaganda. It's just a balanced argument. It's just talking about what exists, talking about what the Prime Minister says, talking about what the Prime Minister does. You cannot expect us not to talk about the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance is the most powerful position after the Prime Minister. The Constitution stipulates that the Minister of Finance must be from the representative. All right, fine, fair enough, give that to them. But when the Prime Minister come tell we say, I don't care which teacher mark them book. I don't care which institution them work in and what experience they've garnered within that institution for the time they've been there. I don't care if they're a safe pair of hands. I know you all don't understand hyperbole because we're not labor right, but I'm speaking in hyperbole. The Prime Minister said, though, all you need to do is to be a disciple to his fiscal policy. And a make-up thing, and a propaganda, and a live pan the Prime Minister. When you know, sister, before Nigel jetted off, Nigel Lagono, beat and teach, wagwan. When you know, sister, before Nigel jetted off, Nigel put on in a more debt. Nigel go borrow money from World Bank to build waterfront. It's not me, you know. It's Nigel sit down and sign it. But did Nigel have the time to sit down with the public sector workers, those from PICA and others who have a contention over the pay scale review? Do they? It's not all the time people speak. One must jump out and shout propaganda. Sometime one must listen. It's not all the time people speak, one must jump up and shout. In my PMP, one must always listen. That's why one keep getting in problem more and more. One must listen well. The Prime Minister is making a lot of bad decisions. The Prime Minister cannot just make bad decisions and people are not allowed to talk about it, highlight it, or criticize it. The Prime Minister is using a technocrat to run the ministry by stealth. Because based on what the Prime Minister said yesterday, he knows Favour is not qualified. But I saw it go. She just needs to follow the orders when we give. Or the orders when Nigel write down left on paper, give Allah, Jean, or whoever. And also country run, you know. The way how the country run, it's not really how a country is run. The country is run to suit the Prime Minister personally. It's not what really should happen. The country should run for the betterment of the country, the people, and future generation. Why not ask Andrew Holness to call an election? Call an election. That's what the country needs, you know. Because one of the one people to talk about the Prime Minister's woes. But the Prime Minister and the Integrity Commission is at war in front of the court. Marissa Dalrymple Filbert is in front of the court with the Integrity Commission as well. Juliet is in front of the court over land as well. It is not a good look. It is not a good look that the ruling class, the head of the executive and the head of the legislature is in court in a compromised way, as well as the former head of the legislature, who is coming back without the court giving a ruling on what Marissa Dalrymple Filbert is in front of the court for. Marissa Dalrymple Filbert is coming back. And I don't agree with the People's National Party not contesting this seat. I think Mark Golding, as I've always said, Mark Golding is quite a lazy opposition leader. The People's National Party is acting quite lazy, quite divided. Even though then Labour, you see them a move ahead of you in front of the poll. That's how bad you are doing, you know. A divided party, a party with a slouchy leader, has moved ahead of you within the public's view. It means you're doing horribly bad. Should I answer mishap? You see, one of the talk about, let me answer Don's mishap. Because you see, mishaps or whatever you is. You see, the doctor wanna keep using an honorary doctorate is not to be used loosely. So it just telling you how the whole honor done skit up call Andrew, doctor this and doctor that every day. It's not a title to be used loosely because one, he's not a PhD holder, or two, he is not a medical profession. It's an honorary title. Is to be used in certain capacity, but not to be used willy-nilly, like how everything wanna call him Dr. Andrew. The one way I go graduate for doesn't give him the PhD title. Him have a DLP title. All right? So put that aside. But the raise of wages wanna talk about with Andrew. When you talk about raising wage, and I'm not defending the PNP here, where they have wage freeze at a very low level for quite a long time, and Andrew have it like that for what, about 6-7 years of his reign. But what you ought to take in consideration, me need to go read a book. I've read many, darling. I have a library in my house, all right? What you must take in consideration is cost of living and inflation. When I talk about the raise of pay, you cannot just talk about the minimum wage as it stands now without taking into account inflation and cost of living. You have to take that into account when you talk about wage rise. Is people better off with the wage rise given how high inflation is and how high cost of living is? If you're at Jamaica, work it out yourself. Work it out, given the rent you're paying now, how much food costs now, how much electricity bill costs now, how much water bill costs now, how much it costs for you to buy your cylinder. Work it out. So when you talk about wage rise, you need to also talk about inflation and cost of living. Wage no rise and cost of living stay stagnant. So you can't just keep every minute come and say, Dr. Andrew did this and Dr. Andrew did that. But look at cost of living. Look at inflation. You may say it's international, but it's an international issue. But even though an international issue, is the people better off with the wages them have no question? Or if you're at Jamaica, work it out for yourself. It out yourself. Tally everything what you have to pay now as opposed to what you did have to pay then. I don't agree to the low wages in no way from any of the political party. But when una talk about the wage rise, una also need to take in consideration cost of living. No, Elaine Stanley, morning, first time seeing you. Sometimes you have to educate the labor right them, because when them come, them attack you, say you're bad mind, them attack you, say you're PNP propagandist, and put them attack me, say me duns, and all that. But poor thing, you have to take your time to educate them, because them come with a misconception and them always come with a one-liner. you're bad mind, you're this, you're that. No, it's not bad mind. We're talking about our country. And the country is not being managed right or going right. So we have to talk, such as the Ministry of Finance, where Andrew play loose ball and a run game round way, and I have him friends running, the Ministry of Finance. Because them tell me never have to give favor, I couldn't take it myself. No. Dana Morris Dixon, old house, London Bridge is falling down because it looked like everything dropping on Dana, drop in a year lap. It was okay with information being pushed over to you after Nesta gone. But I wholly disagree with the education portfolio is being pushed to a person who is already so busy with skills transformation and information. Where our education system is at the moment, we need a steady, safe, focused pairs of hands. Thank you, Kathy, on education. Dana can't be here, there, and everywhere. Education need a strong focus. And I don't think a woman running for portfolio have the time. So why you did have Favor and our state minister in control of education, and then now you're being given another job to Dana. The problem is, Prime Minister, could you not promote another of your colleague? Carencia Morrison, I thought she was a teacher or something. Is there anyone in the parliament who, but then again, no matter if they're a teacher or whatever, because you say experience doesn't matter, or them resume or qualification doesn't matter. Could you not promote another of your colleague to the Ministry of Education? Because you can't say nobody else know that they have experience. Favor not have the experience and just say all you need to do is be a disciple. The education ministry need focus. The education ministry, a lot is falling apart over the Ministry of Education. War broke out in our school. Some school still not ready yet since burial. Since burial, some school still not ready yet. So to have a woman who is busy dealing with the information ministry, dealing with the Ministry of Skills and Transformation, it is too much to give her education. Education is quite a big portfolio. You need somebody there who focus on education. I'm not talking about whether she's qualified or not. I'm talking about her hands is too full. Marcia Gray, Joan Daly, Colleen, James. I'm not talking about whether she is qualified or not. That's not the issue with Dana here. I'm saying Dana Dixon hands are too full. Andrew could promote somebody else. Rhoda, Carencia, anybody, somebody else in the Labour Party can take on a government position. Because right now, you're down a government minister because you have not replaced Favor. You push Favor over Ministry of Finance, and then you push Dana Favor job to Dana. Likewise, you're down one in the Senate. I don't know if you're going to appoint Alec Jean to the Senate. But you're one down in the Senate as well. Because you draw Nesta, what the little boy the name? You draw little boy there out of the Senate, lie to we, because the day when you come tell we, you tell we say him resign a week ago and you never inform the nation. And then you call a by-election, you install him in the House of Representatives. It don't make much sense because the post that he had in the cabinet is the same post that you now give back to him in the representative. that don't make much sense to me. I think there was another political move coming, but you don't want senator and you don't a cabinet minister because Nigel gone and nobody, there is not a new person coming in to replace. You shift Faval there and you push Faval job off there. It's too much for Dana. It is really too much. The education department need more focus. There's an awful lot going on within our education sector where you need a steady, safe pairs of hand to deal with all the issues going on in education. Where they not gonna have time in one day to deal with education, deal with skill, deal with the digital transformation. It's too much. Appoint another minister. You have so much MPs in parliament. Appoint somebody else as the education minister. Or if that's the case, give off, but then Dana brought in as a specialist to deal with the digital transformation and all that. So she's suited where she is. The issue is why throw more burden to her? Because Dana is going to be distracted somewhere here. Skills and transformation, information, education. In a natural world, all of those synchronize. But when it comes to dealing with them single-handedly, the education department need that focus. All right, it's fair to juggle skills and digital transformation together along with information. I never have much problem with she being throw more bone. But this is our education department we're talking about. We're talking about a safe pair of hands. We're talking about somebody who is focused on turning around our education system, turning around failed grades, get a control of the crime and violence escalating in our schools. I don't think that was a good choice. I think the Prime Minister should have named a new minister to take over that department. You mean say in the Labour Party, there's no teacher in there that understand because teachers have good understanding of the education system, you know. Just like how the role of an attorney general or Office of Constitutional Affairs or the speaker, which it should be, those roles require people with legal knowledge. And this is where it turned back on Andrew when Andrew said, I don't tend to look at your resume. It is serious because this is where we end up with Juliet. You notice from Juliet become the Speaker of the House, there has been tantamount of issue with Juliet and her colleagues in the parliament when it got to do with the proceedings, because she doesn't understand the legality of the job that she does. So when the Prime Minister said, him not think about your qualification when him a choose you, it's serious. Because when the Prime Minister choose a minister and put them in our department, it's that minister sometime appoint a lot of the technocrats and bureaucrats at the high level. Now, if that minister don't know what I do, and that minister go appoint in friend them and don't put people in position that knows what they're doing, that's how you have failure in department when it's run by inexperienced people, such as your finance ministry. You have to have a grip on finance and economy. Not only just have a qualification or a degree in it. Because one thing you all need to understand, going to university and study a subject, it's a total different thing of how what you study as a subject is applied in the real world. It's just how it is. What you study and how it's applied in the real world, when you come across a scenario or a situation, it's a total different thing. And you have to be trained and have the experience in order to know how to deal with such issue in line with the knowledge you have. And your experience continue to go. So you become master of your craft. So Andrew can just tell us that it's okay to pick up anybody, put into cabinet position without even when their technocrats or bureaucrats is talking to them, they don't understand even the jargon, because every different sector you work into or every different entity you work into, you have certain jargons that you use that is synonymous to that just relate to that organization, or you have certain acronym where you use just relate to that organization, but that acronym might well connect with another acronym outside the organization, and you have to know what is being spoken about. Imagine Tufton in a meeting with doctors, and doctors are speaking of the medical jargon. Tufton would not understand a word what they're saying. Dr. Horace Chang would understand that though. Dr. Horace Chang would understand that. So that we say, Andrew can't keep pushing people here and there because they're my friend and expect the country to grow or evolve or things to go on good in the country. You choose failure, you end up with failure. You choose inexperienced people, you end up with a batch cowboy job. It's as simple as that. But, high school, college graduate, labor right, where don't understand how to use titles. When I got mad with Andrew and him title, we still await to see. May I go put my next theory out there, which is out there already. I wonder if Matthew was brought into the House of Representatives just in case Andrew Holness had to go, Matthew become a contender for leadership. Just asking, because it's still not clear yet as to why the Prime Minister made that move. And we still want to know what was the reason why Marsha Smith had to resign with immediate effect. She was an MP and a state minister. The public deserve to know. All right. The Labour them. Andrew attack here. Andrew said the results, so it's a wake-up call for no. Anyway, left it for no deal with. But the Prime Minister said something. The Labour right them are go run out. No. The Prime Minister said something which I find either alarming or threatening. I don't know, but it doesn't sound safe coming from a Prime Minister, given that, what's you might call him? Leroy Clark said, this election will not be a peaceful one. But in the Prime Minister's speech that the Gleaner has referenced here, It sound, regardless of what you mean, Prime Minister, the way you speak it make you sound like you would do anything within your power to make sure the People's National Party doesn't get back into power in Jamaica ever. It sounds kind of threatening and scary. I don't know how the tone might come across to other people, but it does sound kind of threatening and scary. How I would like you to word that, though, Prime Minister, is explain to the people that the good policies of the Jamaica Labour Party, the good prosperity, the good economic management we can name, we will make sure we invest in Jamaica in a way that Jamaica people will be happy and comfortable with the Labour Party, and they will have no reason to choose the People's National Party at a general election ever again. That would sound more sensible, Prime Minister, but the way in which you speak it sounds like it have a threat or a violence overtone to it. But then again, JLP, what do you expect? Nigel Clark said it is alleged that there is a draft Finstack report. Colin Campbell is saying. But Nigel Clark is denying that there is no truth to that Finstack report. The issue is, who do you believe here? I don't know, Mr. Campbell. But one thing I know, that Nigel has told us many lies. Quite a few. Because even the FBI story, Nigel, where did claim say I bring, I'm sure I have recordings of you which speak somewhat differently, but never mind. That's the past, Nigel, isn't it? So you cannot be trusted, even though I don't know who Mr. Campbell is, I don't know who to trust. But Nigel Clark saying there wasn't a draft Finsack report that carries findings and recommendation and the forensic audit. What are you hiding though, Nigel? Because the Jamaica Labour Party would happily use over the People's National Party if they report with findings, recommendation, and forensic audit. If this would people to look bad when it comes to dealing with the Jamaican economy and the public purse, why not hold a PNP disgrace? You don't want the whole of it try overhit and persecute Mark Golden and Peter Bunting and Omar Davis and Peter Phil. We want that, We want to tie a horse to them and drag them along the way. But we don't have time to go through the archives to come up with our reports and finding ourselves. That's not my job. I wasn't trained for that. So release the report, make we get to tear the PNP them apart before the general election. But don't sit down and release a conundrum, a document. On still attack the Finsack this thing. No, release the report. We want the report to read. I hold this Musa. I've always been on TikTok Monster Musa. Me did just come off for a while. Me don't know who you be, but me always dep on TikTok. Me did just come off because me can't deal with TikTok robot them, but it's a social page. I'm entitled to be here, aren't I? I mean, I didn't see any gateman at the door when I was coming in. So the best thing would to put this issue to bed is just to publish the report. I mean, if the report paint the People's National Party in a damning light, we want that report to use against them. And if the report put the JLP in a bad light, we want that report to use against them. But what we're tired of is the rambling about the FinSAC report without having a report with the forensic audits, with the recommendations and findings. That's what we really want. All right. Thanks for the third term. Sam Rob or whatever you did. Thanks for the third term. I wish you all well. You know, somebody has to win the next general election. You know, somebody has to win. But may the better team win. But I've said this before. Many of you probably don't understand this. The reason why I care about the Jamaica Labour Party is because I see Andrew Holness doing serious damage to it. And that is killing the electability of the party. Just look at the recent poll. A divided week, Mark Golding has passed up Andrew. If you want a third term, you cannot achieve it with Andrew. Andrew has lost that electability. I don't want to see the PNP or any party in Jamaica ever again has the parliamentary majority that Andrew Holness has. No, neither Holness, neither PNP nor Labour. It is dangerous for your democracy. When a party is so powerful in government, where the certain legislation can go through without the opposition have much say over it, it's dangerous for any democracy, and therefore no party should have such power. So what I don't want, because the direction where Andrew take the Labour Party, they may get a wipeout at the next general election, like how PNP get a wipeout 2020. I don't want this unbalanced democracy ever again, where one party have so much power in a Jamaica. It's dangerous for democracy. Whether it be Labour or PNP, no one party should ever have such a high majority in our representative. It is dangerous. And you've seen Andrew Holness use that to his advantage. It's only that we have a court that keep pushing him back. And a lie we are telling him, there's ruling against him from the Constitutional Court for violations of how him do certain things, whether it be the legislative process, how him extend power or whatever. His use of state of emergency and Zozo. All of them direction, Andrew take on to failure. Regardless, one may think so una go win a third term. One may win a third term if una move Andrew sooner rather than later. Andrew and his wife is going to cost you all, the Labour Party, the next election. It's plain to see. If una don't want to open an eye from early, then una can walk down the road with an eye shut. But the biggest burden, and the whole I don't know it, as much as una deny it, una same Jamaica Labour Party supporters. The biggest problem to the Jamaica Labour Party is Andrew and his wife. When you lose the next general election, you're going to remember that I said this. Andrew and Juliet has cost you. One Labour supporter will jump out, beta teach over and TikTok wagwan. One Labour supporter will jump out. One go and shame, we going to have to take on up in a stretcher. All right, Joe Biden. If Joe Biden said this for true, Joe Biden has just cost Kamala Harris the election. If Joe Biden called Donald Trump supporters garbage, and if this is not propaganda from Sheila Tusk and Donald Trump, this has just cost Kamala the election. Because if you remember the basket of deplorables, that was what cost Hillary the election. And if that, my people, welcome back. Thank you, Arlene Francis. I was kicked out of the studio and a bit of malfunction, but let us get ourselves back together. Thank you all for waiting on. Let me just fix these things. But I finished with my slide anyway. I didn't have anything more on my slide to discuss. I mean, just say if Donald Trump made that mistake, then Rambam go ask Bruce the Air Jamaica because of him sell it to your research before you type. Well, Andrew Holness will win the third term. Okay, if Andrew Holness want win, fine. We don't have a problem with Andrew Holness winning. We have a problem with Andrew Holness doing right. And him not prove say him a do right. Boy, the Labour right them out this morning. It look like Nigel Clark gone and never make breakfast phone or so. We don't just come out cantankerous this morning, but I saw it go. I saw it go Labour rights. Let me set this to no Labour right. Uno can walk and make enemy of people to discuss truth and facts or discuss them opinion. My cousin used to work at the hotel where every Tuesday morning, PJ and Siaga go and have breakfast. They were friends. Whatever on out their fight about, those two were friends. And all of them politicians here both Labour Right and PMP, where hungry Jamaicans sit down and fight over. They are friends. So if you want to come out here and come walla and get in a malice over politician, tough, fine, war, walla, do anything you want, but keep me out of it. When I speak about my country. I don't speak to support politics and politicians. I speak about betterment for Jamaica. But for some reason, both Labour and PNP want to put us into a tunnel. A lot of us who speak over social media, you all want to put us into a tunnel to make sure we support Fono chosen party. I am going to continue to repeat this. I am not one of them. I'm a very independent person. I have my own views. I'm within my right to assess what the government is doing to the country. I have the right to call out the government whenever I want. I have the right to criticize and call out the opposition when I want to. I'm sure on this platform, I call out both the opposition and the government, because and criticize the whole of them. But for some reason, uno want thing to say. Once somebody criticize Andrew, them at PNP, and me not tell no lie, it make uno look dunce. I'm not telling any lie. It make uno look dunce, because the politician them wanna fight over. The politician them what wanna roll over. They're friends. These people party together. These people dine together. And uno choose every day if you come on social media, Jamaicans, if you come catching a war over politician. Let's face it. Whatever you want to say, both of them have failed us. The broke down hospital, what we have a deal with now, never just broke down under Labour. PMP left it in shambles as well. Them under invest it as well. But because you may turn up your own go when me talk about Andrew, me have to talk about the government of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And so the Westminster democracy go. You hold the government of the day to account. If the opposition are slappy tidy, like Mark Golden is, me hold them to account, me call them out, which I've done all the while. But Labour Right always just want Andrew this, and who cares about Andrew? You don't see the time come where high and mighty people are going to prison. Andrew might not be protected like some other politicians, you know. Are you aware that high and mighty people are going to prison now? It's not us that is saying the Prime Minister's statutory declaration cannot be verified. The body that Parliament creates to do that cannot do it. It is why, as the law permits, they have to refer it to people who have more competency and legislative leeway to go deeper into where they cannot go. It's not a made-up story. The Prime Minister is in front of the court trying to struck out a piece of legislation. This has never been done before by any leader in our country. If the Prime Minister wants to struck out the piece of legislation that establish illicit enrichment, don't you think that's something telling? When it's the same Prime Minister who is telling you that his government is robustly fighting against corruption. So why you want to, if you're fighting against corruption, struck out the Corruption Prevention Act? It don't make sense. I hope you can allow us to talk about it. If Andrew Holness do better, we will talk better things about him. But so far, the good that the Prime Minister claimed that he's doing, we're not seeing it, like the good on the economy, the social housing. And by the way, what Andrew is doing is not social housing. Ono who live in Jamaica may don't understand what social housing mean in the context of it. But what Andrew is doing with the NHT money, like go build one house, you have to look for the family, you have to go build one house for them. That's not how not social housing is. Social housing is the government use the NHT money to build schemes or tower blocks, and thereby the government rent it or sell it off to NHT contributors at market or below market price, or they have a rent to buy. They are under a rent to buy contract. That is what social housing means. The fact that the Prime Minister pick out a particular family and build them a house, it's not what social housing mean. On the top walk and believe the nonsense and the foolishness, the money. I know that's not social housing. That's not the definition of social housing. What the Prime Minister is doing is using the NHT money for political expediency, as if he cares about people and is giving them house. Of course, people are getting house, but that's not what social housing is, or that was not the intended purpose of the NHT fund. Everton Jarrett, everywhere on social media, you go with this galangin, Andrew all the way. You're not tired to type the same thing. You're not tired to copy and paste Andrew all the way, Everton Jarrett. Everywhere, at every platform. Look on Uno way a thief. Who you describe as the Uno? Coming up PNP Everton. That's the dunceness of you. You keep lumping me with PNP. How the Uno come in there? Adjust Global TV or adjust Producer Win. Stop the Uno galangin. Adjust me. Me say every time he come on the platform is just one thing he continue to write. I who keep me answer that somebody up on TikTok. Hold on there. But then again, if me take them up, me don't know how to take them back out of the box. So me stay over them there. O'Neil Gale, Genevieve Lewis. All right, it looks like that somebody wanted something. Hold on there. Can you drop down, please? Can you drop down? Drop down. I'm not interested. I'm hosting a show. Drop down. Me say drop down. Drop down. Don't tell me about one match. Drop down. I'm declining. Drop down. Backside will come up your corner. No, the match galang. Looks like footballer to you. I have no time for no galang. I think I did one of the labor right. One come trace me. Come out and just make a fool on yourself. No, sir, me not play no match. Me not understand match galang. Me not understand match. Sorry, oh. Me not even know how to take on down when you come up here. Me just over TikTok for broadcasting purpose. I'm not here for the ruckus and the practice that TikTok is. I'm here for Chuck Finley. I'm aware of who you are, Chuck Finley. I'm not taking any propagandist, or not, I wouldn't say propagandist. Apologize for that word. I'm not taking any political vloggers on my platform. I'm a broadcaster. I'm an independent journalist. I don't get involved in what is going on over TikTok with people debating JLP and PNP. I'm a broadcaster. I speak about what is in the news. You may have to look for a different panel. This is not paneling. This is broadcasting. I'm aware of who you are, but una have to keep una politics war to yourself. I am a broadcaster. I'm not a political vlogger. It's a different thing. I name off PNP head and I name off JLP head. I am not here to sing tune or narrative for any one of them. So me not accept nobody up here will come here for run PNP narrative or run JLP narrative. If you come up here and on a Jamaica and a better Jamaica, you come up here about sorry about that. No, we are not that type of I've observed the panelings that you all do over social media. This is not what misinformation I'm giving Chuck Finley. Type it in the chat. If I'm giving misinformation, you should be able to type it in the chat if I'm giving misinformation. But what I will not do, I will not take any political tribalism in my broadcast scope about the Hope House. What did I say about Hope House? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. What did I say about Hope House? I don't know. And I'm not one of the vloggers that will, or the journalists that will block anybody. Everybody have their free speech over here. But what my platform, you said it was a waste of NHT money. Yes, it's a waste of NHT money, Chuck Finley, in the way the Prime Minister is using it, because even the NHT contributors, Chuck Finley, is having problem getting money or getting adequate money to purchase a property. The social housing, the misuse that I spoke about is where the Prime Minister is talking about social housing in the way where the Prime Minister will go build one house, yes, or go build one house there so for few people. That is not social housing, Chuck. That is the Prime Minister using the NHS money, the NHT money to build home for people who want to build for. Social housing, Chuck, means that the government uses the NHT money to build housing complexes, whether it be housing schemes or tower block. Then in that now, Chuck, what you do is you rent those government dwellings to people to lift them out of the squalor as it was to be, or people are on a rent to buy scheme. So after a certain amount of years, it's not funded from the NHT. Where is it funded from? And what is happening to NHT money? All right, tell me that the 650 million to Dexim wasn't misused. One must stop tell people say them have spread false news. The NHS money is being misused and people will contribute to the NHS not getting the money. It's the fact. However we want to skew it, it's the facts. If the Prime Minister want to use NHT money wisely, go and use it to build housing schemes and tower blocks across the country so Jamaicans can have proper living, dwelling. But what 750 billion from the deal, Chuck Finley? The NHT, you mean the deal with Dexim? No, the NHT got back them 650 million and them got back a 20 million. If you're talking about that sweetheart deal, a 20 million then did get pan 650 million. So don't come make it look like so them gain back 100 million pan it. No, that's not true. It is not. Anyway, me now go get wrap up in a Chuck Finley, because if anybody listen to Chuck Finley on TikTok, It's wild goose chase after wild goose chase. Me no in them something there. You're talking about the deal. Oh, Chuck Finley and Chopper John are friend. That's why Chuck Finley so wild when he make up in conspiracy. Because some of the things that when you hear Chuck Finley talk, you wonder where Chuck get the same thing they from. What Chopper John friend? I mean, then you can tell. That means I'm enough to waste my time. Anyway, thank you all for being here with us this morning in the Global Television Group. Once again, to my supporters who put us back in our professional studio. All right, Everton, me know say me a batty boy. I know anything new you talk. Why don't always come with this stale story? Wanna come tell me something we always steal. Anyway, thanks to my supporters who have put me back into my professional studio. Gloria, Raymond, Abena, Eugene, and Violet. Thank you all very much for your support to the Global Television Group. Lord Jesus, boy. What if me can stay upon TikTok for a few and irritate the labor right? Can them come out this morning? I don't know why they come out, so. I don't know why Chuck and him friend are, if I your friend. But we're going to say goodbye to those on YouTube this morning. Join us back this evening for the people's point of view. If they want to stay over TikTok and Walla, they can do so. But me not go waste my time with either Labour or PNP vloggers in how me see them behave on TikTok. Me not go get into that wallering and that panel cussing and the so-called your chocho and they didn't know I'm a broadcaster. All right, TikTok, I am a broadcaster. I'm here to have conversation. I'm not here to tell people to it out, suck out, and buck out. Thank you all very much for being here this morning. It's lovely to have you all as always. Good afternoon and good morning from the Global Television Group. Join us right back here this evening.
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who has openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commission of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that Minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the Minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agree that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.